Welcome to the Ask a Swim Pro show. My name is Faris Savati, co-founder and CEO of MySwimPro. We are at the U.S. Aquatic Sports Convention in St. Louis, and I am joined by two super special guests, Patricia and William.
Hey, Faris.
Hi, Faris. We're happy to be here.
Right on. We're happy to have you on the show. So let's get right into it. Tell us about yourself, Patricia.
My name is Patricia Matheson, and I am an Adult Learn to Swim graduate. And I am ecstatic to be here at convention this year. I was able to come and share my journey with all of the delegates who are here and really stress the importance of the ALTS program.
That's awesome. Welcome to the show. And,
Thank you.
And you know William very well.
Yes, I know William very well.
So before William introduces him, what's your relation with William?
So William is the co-founder of our Central Adult Learn to Swim program in Louisville, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And he was him and Amy were the first two people to get me involved in the ALTS program.
Right on.
And since then, we've become best friends.
Yeah. So William, what's your background?
So I'm a competitive swimmer. I'm a master's swimmer. I grew up knowing how to swim, and it's a privileged life that I've lived. And somewhere along the line, we realized no one else, has it as good as I do. Not everybody else has it as good as I do. And we saw a need, and so we started teaching adults to swim for free in our community. And we met incredible people like Pat, who went from non-swimmer to graduate to advocate to friend,
Yeah.
And hopefully soon,
a certified instructor.
Certified instructor. Yes, let's get right into that. So Pat, talk to us about the journey of learning how to swim and now what you're doing.
So my journey has been incredible. When I came to the ALTS program, I wasn't afraid of the water, mm-hmm. but I didn't know how to swim. Mm-hmm. And my daughter actually showed me a flyer on Facebook of they were teaching these classes, mm-hmm. and it was in my community, mm-hmm. and it was free. So I was like, okay, let's go. Yeah. And even though I was apprehensive, I just couldn't figure out how they were going to mm-hmm. teach me how to swim in 4 hours. I went and took the class, and it was phenomenal. And I've just, once I felt that feeling of liberation, of being able to do it, I wanted to tell everybody. So I went to Facebook, my mm-hmm. social media platform, sure. and I told all my friends and all my family. I actually made it a commitment to my family to ensure that everyone in my family knows how to swim.
That's awesome.
And so we've been going forth ever since, and the more I tell the story, the more other people come to the classes, and then they get to tell their story. Mm-hmm. And so it's sort of like a domino effect, and it mm-hmm. just keeps going and keeps going. And now we have a waiting list in our Adult Learn to Swim program of over 500 people.
That's amazing. What advice do you have for people who are maybe they're a little shy of the water and learning how to swim?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just
do it.
Do it. We only have one life to live, and when it's over, it's over. So, after I turned 50, I had an epiphany, and I was like, for all my life, I did what I had to do. I was a single parent raising 2 children. I did what I had to do. But once my children were grown, then I started saying, I want to do some things for me, some things that I had never done mm-hmm. and never made a priority because I couldn't. Now I can, and so I just wanted to do something for me. So a lot of my friends are older, and I encourage them, women empowerment is big for me, mm-hmm. and I encourage them, do something for yourself. Celebrate who you are. Be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people who maybe they're committed, they want to learn how to swim, I guess what's the first steps that you recommend taking?
Registration. Just go to the website
Sign up.
and register. Uh-huh. And even though there's a waiting list, a lot of times life happens and we can't get in when we want to. Mm-hmm. Scheduling conflicts arise, and you just never know. Something may happen, and William may call you. And mm-hmm. that was one thing I told William that was so important for me, and truly for Black Americans. Mm-hmm. We have to feel a sense of belonging, and we have to trust you. And when I tell the story about how Amy and William were so reassuring. And I mean, I think they were happier to teach me than I was to learn. I mean, I really do. And it was infectious. And so when I saw them excited, so I got excited. And I was like, hey, I'm the one that's learning. But it just made me feel comfortable. I mean, and honestly, William's like a friend. I mean, he's younger than my children, but he's a friend. And I mean, we talk all the time. We text, we get on the phone, we share ideas. So the relationship building was an important factor for me.
That's awesome. And William, from your perspective as an instructor, what are some of the success stories that you'd like to share?
Well, the most successful thing we've done is find advocates. Pat is one of many people who do my job in promoting my program for me. I can only be so convincing as a competitive swimmer who doesn't know what it's like to not swim when trying to explain to someone that they need to learn how. That's my students' job, is to share their story and as Pat mentioned, empower people and let them know that they're the ones that can do it, and I don't need to convince them. They can convince themselves, and their community convinces themselves.
And when it comes to sharing this story, Pat, you are our keynote speaker for the Master Swimming at the convention. And then, William, you just gave a talk about how to set up Adult Learn to Swim. And you guys have been featured in a number of publications. Actually, do you guys have the Swimmer magazine or any of those on
I
you?
have a Louisville magazine
And
right
I
here.
have a swimmer upstairs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll overlay that, and
We'll
we
get
can
it
link
later.
all of the
Yeah, I'll
different
send it
media.
all to you.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's go back to the process of like learning how to swim for the first time, because I think a lot of people, like the more they can hear and you can share the experience, that can help them in taking action.
So the first day of class, I went with my daughter. So we went in, and again, I said we were very apprehensive because I just did not believe that they could teach me how to swim in 4 hours. So we went in, and like I said, they were very greeting. I mean, everything was really nice. Before we got in the pool, we kind of went around, introduced ourselves. So we started creating an atmosphere right away. And then once we did get in the pool, I remember the first thing I learned, because I always thought that when you go in the water, you hold your breath. First thing I learned is, no, dummy, you don't hold your breath. You breathe out, you exhale in the water. So, as simple as it sounds, I just never grasped that. And, the blowing bubbles, we did that whole thing, and then we bobbed first, and then we blew bubbles in the water. I mean, really basic, simple steps that when you put them all together really lead to the whole process of swimming. And so after we did that, we blew bubbles, and then we focused on staying under the water. Now, I'm a big girl, so I float. Naturally, I float. So that was never a problem for me. And I can float on my back. I've never floated face down. So that was something I had to learn, and then flipping over from my back onto my side. It was just a whole lot of stuff. And when I left that first class, I thought, okay, we might be onto something.
After one lesson.
After
one lesson.
1 hour.
1 hour. That's
1
important,
hour.
Yeah.
And granted, so when I started, I went to the first class, but I had to go out of town. So I went out of town. I think the first class was on a Monday. I went out of town. I was gone that whole week, and then I went back the next Monday during the day to finish my classes, but I went that whole week. And so the class started the same way, but I had done that part, so I was ready to move, to the next part. And the second day, I'm telling you, it was the word that I found that is so applicable, liberating.
Liberating.
when I took that first stroke, I ain't trying to be a distance swimmer, but when I got
liberation,
it was like, I'm doing it. So at that moment, I began to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So at that moment, it was full steam ahead. And I just started trying to do everything that I thought I wanted to do. And since then, I'm not, I don't swim laps yet, but, I'm pacing myself and setting incremental goals. My ultimate goal is to be an instructor so that I can begin to create the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
so that we go through the cycle. Traditionally in my community, we don't do a lot of giving back, but it's important. It's important for our children to learn the art of giving back so that when somebody gives you a gift, pay it forward. Share the gift with someone else. And so that's what I caught myself doing by sharing my story on Facebook. That's my largest platform. I have lots of friends. I always brag on my friends because I have some great friends. And if I say, this is worth you looking into, they will. And I mean, they did. I put it out there and they went.
People responded. And I saw on Facebook, the platform, did a video highlight, and both of you guys are in it.
Yes.
And I remember in that video, and we'll have it linked and we'll overlay it, but you talked like, who are you thankful for? And you both thanked each other.
Yep. Yeah. Because, William, we talk about, and in today's society, we hear a lot about white privilege. And some people have their white privilege and they live their lives and they go forward. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you have the Williams of the world who understand they have a white privilege and understand that sharing what they have makes this world a better place. Because William could swim. He's a competitive swimmer. He could probably be in the Olympics. But William is back here trying to empower us to live our best lives. Great is your reward in heaven, William.
Thank you. It is very important to give back. I mean, part of the reason why many master swimmers decide that this is what they want to do is because they hear about it and they see people giving back and they want in on it. It's infectious. If it's liberating for Pat, it's contagious for swimmers, for existing swimmers. We want to be a part of expanding our tribe. We want to get larger. We want people in the water and loving it for all the same reasons that we do.
Y'all want to swim?
It's free.
Tell us about the shirt. So if you didn't check out the shirt, y'all want to swim, and then make sure they can lift that up. Yeah, it's free part. Excellent. So tell us about that shirt.
So we had a student, Sheila, in one of our first classes. I understand Sheila's a friend of Pat's. Pat pretty much got the whole crew together. When we started in the very beginning, I think, our infancy, we knew that we could teach people to swim. We'd all gone to a class to learn how to do it. But we weren't sure how we could connect with our students. We weren't sure we would have any students. We always said that if we had one student in the beginning that learned to swim, then we would be successful. So we're getting into these classes and we're hosting them in a pool in a school building. And, public school buildings are hubs of coming and going, and there's people accidentally walking into the pool and, oh, that's not the gym, I'm going to turn around. One of our students, Sheila, would be in the pool, floating around, swimming, showing off her skills, and she'd be like, hey, y'all want to swim? It's free. They teaching free swim lessons. Get down here, let's do it. And we were like, we're putting it on a t-shirt. And
Awesome.
So these are a hot commodity in Louisville.
And a great marketing tool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's kind of our sign. It's how people know, like y'all want to swim. It's free. We hear a lot in Kentucky that y'all means all. And Pat talks about inclusion. If y'all means all, then all y'all can swim.
Awesome. Pat, during the keynote yesterday, you mentioned what you're involved in outside of the water. So tell us about some of those hobbies and things that you participate in.
So I tell everybody, music is my passion. I absolutely love to sing.
She's good.
Love to sing. So, and next to singing, I think would be travel. So I love to travel. And so while I started out, my background, my education is in accounting. So I worked as an accountant for a while, and then my church was they were rebuilding our Family Life Center, a 42,000 square foot beautiful facility, and they needed an executive director. So went over there and started working as executive director. I did that for about 8 years, but it consumed a lot of my time, and I didn't really get to sing a lot. So it was a little bit past my 50th birthday, and I talked it over with my kids, and I was like, I don't want to work a traditional job anymore. And, of course I had to work some financial things out, but then my daughter was like, well, just don't do it. And I said, literally, I'm not lying. She just said, well, don't. And so I said, I want to pursue my music. And so I left that job to pursue my music. And in 2013, I released my first gospel CD. Well, actually, it's my only one, but it's pretty good. Y'all should check it out. You can get it on Amazon, CD Baby, iTunes. I even have a radio channel, Patricia Matheson. But after I released the CD, I just went around, traveling around, singing. That's what I did for a long time. And then someone had introduced me to the cruise line industry. And so I took a 6-month contract on a cruise line. Holland America. I was one of the BB King All-Stars, and I absolutely loved it. It was the funnest. I got the best of both worlds. I could sing and I could travel. So I just absolutely loved it. And so then I said, well, my mind's always going. So I said, well, instead of going out as an all-star, maybe I can do my own show and get a main stage show, and then I don't have to be restricted to just one cruise line. I can go to all of the different cruise lines. So that's when I knew, and I did a show in Louisville in February of this year I did a tribute to Aretha Franklin. So that's the show that I'll be promoting, and hopefully it'll get picked up, and then I'll get to get back out on the cruise ship. Meanwhile, I was taking swimming lessons. And
busy.
I do plays. William, have you come to any of the play? I haven't done a play since
just the Aretha show.
Yeah. So I do some community theater at home. I enjoy that. It's very time consuming, but I enjoy it.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
So Fairs, I should mention that in this world of adult learn to swim, there's a couple of different kinds of non-swimmers or adult learn to swim students. So you have your fearful non-swimmer. These are people who have evaded the water for their whole life, and they're afraid and they don't swim. And then you have the fearless non-swimmer. Someone who takes a job on a cruise ship and can't swim.
Right.
Someone who goes snorkeling and can't swim.
Oh, God. Someone
who goes diving for starfish in the ocean and doesn't know how to swim. So it's really remarkable that not swimming, we talk about everybody has a why for why they want to swim. Master swimmers, kids, lap swimmers, everybody has a reason why they're swimming. Well, everybody also has a why not. They have a reason why maybe they don't get up in the morning and go to swim practice. They have a reason why they decided to, snooze the alarm. They have a reason why they decided not to learn to swim, so they were 53. But one of the things that I've kind of identified in this whole journey is that we don't really care about your why not. We want to know what your why is, and we want to help you reach it and live it. And Pat is living proof of this.
Yes. Excellent. For each of you, why do you think it's so important for everyone to learn how to swim?
Well, I think everybody, is on a different journey, and I think there are multiple reasons why they should, whether it's for recreation, some do it for fitness, some do it for the pure enjoyment of the sport. But I think that all of us fit in one of those categories. And for me, it's a combination of recreation and fitness. As you can see, I'm a big girl. I'm pretty proud of being a big girl. And when you think about me, I'm not getting ready to go to the gym every morning, but I will go swim.
Yeah. And
realizing the physical benefit of swimming was, one of the best things that I could have ever found out. Also, health. I was having a lot of trouble. I have arthritis in my knee. That water does wonders for it. And I mean, literally, I've as long as I stay in the water, I don't have issues with my knee. And that was something that I noticed immediately. But I noticed it after because I didn't get in the water for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it came as a result of it.
Added benefit.
Yeah. So, I think that everybody, once they figure out what their why is, then it makes it all worth it and it all makes sense.
Awesome.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm affiliated with a lot of swim teams, children's teams, adult teams, open water, the Adult Learn to Swim program. It's true. Everybody does swim for a different reason. I swam as a kid. I didn't swim in college. I started master swimming the day I turned 18 because it was fun and I wasn't burnt out. And the competition caught up with me when I realized I could still get faster because I could. And on the flip side of it, when I started teaching adults to swim, my swimming got better. I was more technically aware, and not just technically aware, but more mentally aware of the reasons why I put my body in the water, and how I feel, and how the water holds me, and how I have a relationship with the water, and it is very special, and it's one of those things that we yearn to share with people.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And we will link how you can learn how to swim, different resources, Will's program in down in the south. Actually, we're in St. Louis, so I guess what, east?
Back to the east.
Back to the east. Wherever you are in the world, we want you to be water safe, and we want to grow the sport of swimming. We'll do a quick plug for World Swim Day. You can highlight that. So World Swim Day is all about empowering people to be active in the water and go out and swim, and promoting water safety, because you don't have to be a competitive swimmer.
No.
You could learn how to swim when you're 7 or 57 or 53, and it's really important that you get into the water. So we'll have all the links in the description, but I want to really thank Patricia and William for joining me on this episode of the Ask a Swim Pro show. We're out in St. Louis. We'll see you guys later. Bye.